Hello everybody and welcome to episode 13 and the first episode of the new Gamers Without Borders. I am TestZero and joining me this evening are the achievement whore Johnny Chase.
What's going on?
And other fellow reviewer unknown, Ozzie Arcane.
Greetings.
With this new series, we'll be trying a slightly different format for the show. Instead of gaming news and current events, each episode will revolve around a particular aspect of video games, gaming subculture, or in this case, a specific gaming series. So with that out of the way, Super fucking Smash Brothers!
Super Smash Brothers!
Oh my god, a Super Saiyan.
So, when was the first time you encountered Super Smash Brothers?
I'll go first. The first time I encountered it actually was the infamous commercial where the mascots are dancing, and I think it was Mario tripped Yoshi or Pikachu. Couldn't remember, and then they just start fighting.
I think Mario hit Yoshi, and then Yoshi hit Mario back, and then Pikachu, and who was the other one? I think it was Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was watching this commercial, and then I saw the clips and all that, the only thing I was thinking is, motherfucker, I had that idea 5 years ago. No, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. When I was young, I used to come up with gaming ideas all the time, and I actually came up with the idea for a Nintendo fighter. Now, it wasn't like this 4-player, what we know today as Smash Brothers. It was actually going to be 2D, sprite-based, and more along the lines of Street Fighter 2 as opposed to this, just smash you outside the screen.
So, Super Kart Fighter.
Yes, but less sucky. Very, very less sucky. I actually had it where I drew all the characters, and I had movesets for them. I had Mario, and it's like, okay, half circle forward, he throws plungers. Complete half circle forward and punch. He throws fireballs. I even put in James Bond because this was right after GoldenEye 007. Okay. I had quarter circle forward. He would pull out an RCP-90 and it would just be like a striker's gun in Mortal Kombat 3. I riddled this and I kept watching this. I'm just like, damn it.
Okay,
Why didn't I think of this?
I'm going to throw in my 2 cents that I had that idea before them as well, but it wasn't a Nintendo fighter. It was a fighting game where the stages actually mattered. You had platforms you could jump on. You had ladders. You could die instantly if you fall off the stage. And I had characters for that. I think I had 28 different characters, and they were all original characters too. And I had movesets for all of them. I had different ways that they did their attacks. I had fatalities in it. And I had some pretty gruesome ones. I had this one guy, he was kind of like a bipedal spider. Even though spiders have 8 legs, but whatever. His finishing move was he would make a lasso out of his webbing, throw it around the prone enemy, squeeze it so hard that their heart would pop out of their mouth. He would jump up, grab it out of the air, and eat it. I made this up in elementary school.
Wow. So basically, between the two of you, Johnny had an idea for using the Nintendo characters, and you had an idea for crazy stages and stuff.
Yes.
It's like you both had different halves of what we actually got thought of.
Essentially,
Pretty much.
But the first time I played Super Smash Brothers, it was in my first year of high school, which was probably about a year after it came out, and we had kind of a stay over thing at the high school with all the freshmen where they just kind of got to know the campus and got to know each other, and each of the different buildings they would have different things set up. So in one of them they had a gaming room and they had it set up with Super Smash Brothers, and I had never played it before at that point. So I think I picked Pikachu maybe, and I totally got annihilated, obviously, because I didn't even have an N64. So but again, I loved the concept behind it, just how different it was from other fighting games, which I'm going to be getting into later. Ozzie, what about you?
Well, like you, I never had a Nintendo 64, so my first encounter with Smash Brothers was actually Melee for the GameCube, which was actually kind of funny because I had some interesting situations with that. Like, me and my friends played it, but the thing is, me and my friends didn't really like playing versus games against each other. This is largely because we were all sore losers, so playing versus games with each other was never a good idea.
Right.
But I actually had a really funny instance where one of my friends had gotten the game, he decided it sucked, and he traded it in. Then, like a year later, he was talking about buying it because all these people at his work had told him how great it was. I was like, you already had that game and traded it in because you thought it sucked. And he's like, I did? I don't know how you forget something like Smash Brothers, but he did, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know how you would think of that. I guess he just really didn't feel enamored by it.
I sort of had a similar background with it, where we had it at my local, like, I lived out in the boonies, so I didn't have access to Blockbuster and all these places to rent games, so I had to rent them if my local gas station would get the game, which they did in this instance, so I would rent it here and there. But the other people in my family really weren't that hardcore into games. I mean, my brother was kind of on the same level as me, but again, we were the type of siblings that were at each other's throats when it came to anything competitive. So I didn't really get into it that much. I got into it more my first year of college, where I went for 3D game design. And we're just trying to get like ideas for anything. And we had a party where it slowly turned from like, in the kitchen, just drinking, and then we were like, hey, you got the N64 upstairs, play some games. We had rented Mario Party and Smash Brothers, and we alternated between the two. But man, like, when you get like a bunch of guys that are at college learning wanting to program games, wanting to develop games, and just piss drunk at playing this game. It got super competitive and super loud. Like every time like you thought you would be out, you'd hear like the grab onto the ledge, or whenever that person got the baseball bat and they figured out, oh wait, if I flick the analog stick then hit A, it's going to give me supercharge. Yeah. And then when you hit it, you hear It was like getting put through a table in a wrestling match.
Yes.
The crowd just popped. So that was one of my experiences with Smash Brothers on the N64.
It took me a while to actually get into the Smash 64. I really didn't get into it until I started playing it on an emulator on the Kyera network. That's just basically an open source network that lets emulators to connect to others so you can play games online that don't ordinarily have online capabilities. And it's the most played N64 game on the Kyera network. I think the second is Mario Kart 64. But I really liked it, although it did lack a lot of balance. But it introduced it had the 12 characters that have been grandfathered throughout every Super Smash Bros. Game since then.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the roster right now. So it came like when you got the game, you plugged it in memory free. You had Mario, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Link, Fox McCloud, Samus Aran, and Pikachu. The funny is that this game, Super Smash Bros., this is the only game that Samus has been on the N64. There was no standalone Metroid game.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of ideas for Metroid games, but they could never come up with any consistent ones. They never came up with any solid ones for the game. So,
yeah, and then you had the 4 secret characters, which were Captain Falcon, Jigglypuff, Luigi, and Ness. At first, I didn't know who Ness was.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't even know who Captain Falcon was because I never got into the F-Zero series.
I kind of knew who Captain Falcon was, but like Ness, I had no idea. And then I heard he was from Earthbound. I'm like, I vaguely remember that. And now we flash forward, 13 years later, and it's like one of the most expensive Super Nintendo games on eBay. I'll actually tell you guys, there's a game shop that's about an hour out of my town. I went there with my girlfriend and another friend of mine looking for retro games. Shit, this guy had an in-boxed version of Earthbound with the instruction manual, the player's guide. Yeah, it came with everything. $550.
Fucking hell.
God.
I'm like, I'll go buy one next gen console with that money. Thank you very much.
That is easily the most anticipated game that's going to be released on the Virtual Console. Like, just because so many people can't find a copy or never had the chance to play it at all anyhow.
I have 900 Wii points. I might have to pick that up.
It's not on. Oh, it's not up yet. It's going to be on the Wii U.
Once it does, only on the Wii U. It's not going to be out on the regular Wii console.
No, they haven't been.
No, I think they've given up on the Wii Virtual Console.
Well,
now.
they shut down the other stuff. They shut down like the Check Me Out channel, which who the fuck even used?
I mean, you can still buy the stuff that's already there. They're just not adding anything to it.
Okay. But the one roster choice that always seemed weird was Jigglypuff. Why?
I think they wanted something else that was cute and girly because they didn't have enough characters.
I understand Jigglypuff was a very... Because I watched not Smash, but I watched the Pokemon anime back when, like, the early seasons of it, back when that same time with the N64 was around. And Jigglypuff was a recurring character in it. But honestly, I feel Meowth would have been a much better choice. Because that's like the antagonist to Pikachu.
True,
I would have to say that
cutesy ones.
I would actually have to say it probably would contribute a lot to the success of the anime in North America, and Jigglypuff was a really popular character in that anime. I mean, what did it do? It would sing the Jigglypuff song, put people to sleep, and then
draw on them.
Yeah.
So she's like a frat girl.
Has anyone, okay, there's a lot of stuff, like, for Jigglypuff and that, like, you know, putting people to sleep and then drawing on them, has anyone ever done a meme or a Photoshop where after they put them to sleep, Jigglypuff just draws dicks on their face?
That would be hilarious.
I'm sure somebody might have done that at some point.
Well, there's that really, if it's been thought up of, it's probably been done.
You know, since they did basically give us Ash, I think it would be awesome if they figured out a way to put, like, Team Rocket in at some point.
They sort of... No, they didn't give us Ash, they gave us Red.
But it's
Red
Ash.
is so many times better than Ash. Because Ash keeps giving his fucking Pokemon away.
Oh, you found that pink Butterfree. That's not in any of the games. Go off with her. Be happy.
Yeah, you're already fully
evolved.
I already filled up my Pokédex with you. I'm just going to keep you in a box anyway.
Well, he's got good status effects.
No, don't forget he also needs to have the series rules explained to him every season.
Yeah, who was your favorite to play as in the first in Smash 64?
For me, it was probably Link.
Link?
Just because, like, you know, he had, like, the weapon and the shields, and
yeah, he had a lot of different. He had a lot of nice firepower.
Yeah, he had the stuff that you could pull out of his back there, like the bombs, boomerangs,
hammer space.
Yeah.
I liked Kirby because I was horrible at platformers, and I liked the fact that he could jump multiple times in midair.
Of course,
I didn't even realize that Kirby was basically God tier in Smash 64. He was basically the top tier character.
I can believe that, you know, because he could fly, he could float, and then, like, when you jump up and hit down B and do the stone move, forget about it. If you're caught in that and you were low health, you're gone.
Yeah, his stone was really powerful.
Yeah. But one of the things that really sets Smash apart from other fighters is the inclusion of items. Like, random items would just appear. I mean, we got the Donkey Kong hammer. When you pick it up,
it's items from all kinds of different Nintendo games, which is great because it's basically a who's who of Nintendo. There's a lot of stuff in it that didn't make much sense though. I mean, it had like the beam sword and the laser rifle. I guess that's like from Star Fox, I guess, but the beam sword, I don't know what that would be from.
I think they just wanted some type of lightsaber weapon in there somehow.
Didn't Power Stone have items in it too?
Well, getting into it, there were other games that did like the 4-player combat mode. There were games like Power Stone and, if anybody's familiar with it, Thrill Kill. Completely different kind of game than Super Smash Bros. Though. But yeah, so the idea of using like a 4-player fighting game wasn't terribly new. But at the time, this was something that we had not seen on consoles that much. Especially something that was hard-coded to be 4 players. Like, because the N64 was, I think, the first game system that was designed around 4 controllers at once, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was the one that had the 4 ports built into it, and Sega later developed that with the Dreamcast. They put the 4 ports right into it. I mean, it's so much easier just to put that in your console than having consumers. So, okay, you want to play multiple, you want to have more than one, more than 2 controllers in your console, you gotta go out and buy a multi-tap. A lot easier just to have it built in than nowadays. You buy a wireless controller, you just sync it up to your console. You can get 4 controllers synced up to one console now, but back in the day, you'd have to get a multi-tap. I mean, for older consoles like an NES or SNES, those are really hard to come by, especially SNES. I've never seen a multi-tap for an SNES anywhere.
Well, yeah, and that basically killed any desire by developers to make games that were more than 2 players.
Yeah, so I think this really kind of marked what Nintendo was doing. They were creating a new hardware concept and then opening it up for developers to do whatever they wanted with it. They had the 4 controller ports on the N64, also the analog stick, which was also somewhat different for the time, somewhat revolutionary or unseen in most home consoles, unless you go back to like the Atari or something. But it wasn't nearly as responsive as the N64 joystick. But then you move it to the GameCube, or even with still with the N64, you had something like the Rumble Pack, which again was a completely new feature for controllers. And it seemed like such a silly idea to me that you would have this thing that would just rumble when you played it. It's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah,
but then again,
now you're getting that with movie theater chairs when you go to watch the movies.
I have not encountered that myself.
I think it's stupid, but there you have it.
Yeah. Well, without the Rumble Pack, I don't think any other companies would just say, "Oh, let's put a Rumble feature in our controller." I mean, when PlayStation launched, they didn't have Rumble in their controller, and then they came out with the DualShock, which had 2 analog sticks and the Rumble feature built in. Didn't need to put in. Yeah, you didn't have to put in 2 AAA batteries to power the thing. It was powered by the console, so.
Yeah.
So, moving forward from Smash 64, we move on to Super Smash Bros. Melee, which I like to say was the beginning of the whole tourney subculture of Super Smash Bros.
Where everybody started caring about tiers.
Oh, yes. If anybody knows me personally, you know that I am very adamant against tier lists and the whole quote-unquote tourney fag subculture of Super Smash Bros. But I will get into that later. Johnny, do you have any particular thoughts on Super Smash Bros. Melee?
Well, yeah, it's the game that helped sell the GameCube in the early days. I mean, that was like that was a launch title, right?
It was GameCube's killer app. If you wanted a GameCube, it was basically you had Super Smash Bros. Melee. Or if you wanted Super Smash Bros. Melee, you bought a GameCube for that game. Yeah, and there were other games that were good for it. There was like Eternal Darkness, there was Wind Waker, but the first time I didn't buy a GameCube, but I bought a Wii. When I bought a Wii, the very first thing I picked up was 2 extra controllers and Super Smash Bros. Melee.
I don't think that Melee was a launch title for the GameCube.
It wasn't.
Because I remember when the GameCube came out, they were mainly pushing Luigi's Mansion. That was like what they were trying to push as their killer app, and no one cared.
Yeah, that's right.
No one cared.
I think Smash Brothers Melee came out shortly after.
Well, Smash 64
I just remember in
wasn't
college.
a launch title for the N64 either, but it was a game that convinced a lot of people to get an N64. It was either that or Gold. No, actually, N64 had a fairly decent launch title in Super Mario 64. And then, of course, they had stuff like GoldenEye, which was also... It was basically GoldenEye or Smash Brothers at parties.
Yeah, or Mario Party.
Mario Party, yeah, or Mario Party 2, or Mario Party 3.
So I'm just bringing up the list now, and I completely forget who was available. I think I have it here. Who was available right from the get-go, and then who you had to unlock later. So they brought back everyone from the original, and they included Luigi right from the get-go as playable. You didn't have to unlock. Oh wait,
the ones that are in the middle are the ones in the middle are included, and then the ones that are lower are added. The ones that are on the outsides were added later.
Okay, for some reason I could have sworn that Luigi was locked in the beginning, but could be wrong. No. See, the thing is, like, when I get everything unlocked, I forget if they were unlocked or not. Well, I'll just run down the list here. So you got Mario, you got Fox, Ness, Kirby, Samus, Link, Captain Falcon, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, and Luigi, all back from the first one. Then you add in Bowser, who, from what I've read, Bowser was initially supposed to be in Smash Bros. 64.
I guess it's okay that they left him out because they wanted to do more of the mascots than the villains. But yeah, Bowser would have been a nice addition to it. Because they have Donkey Kong, but it would have been nice to have another big brawler in there.
And we also got Peach, Zelda, which kind of doubled because
she became Sheik.
You hit down B, she became Sheik, which had her own moveset. Then we also got now this is where we start getting into the clone fighters. These are just kind of skins. Dr. Mario, which basically is Mario, but instead of shooting fireballs, he shoots pills.
And I'm glad they got rid of him in Brawl, because he was pretty useless. Because they already had Luigi as a clone of Mario, although they did kind of give him his own stuff. They gave him the green missile attack. They made his fireball shoot straight instead of bounce. That was a nice touch.
Falco, which is pretty much a carbon copy of Fox. Young Link, which is just a smaller version of Link.
I actually liked Young Link because he was faster than older Link.
You got Ganondorf, the villain of the Zelda series, most notably Ocarina of Time. This is what he was based off of. He's pretty much a clone of Captain Falcon, I find.
I never understood why he had to be a clone of Captain Falcon. I mean, I understood in Melee they want to kind of save on data or something maybe, but I don't know why they didn't update him in Brawl to have a completely original skill set. I mean, I guess I sort of see it because they don't want to alienate people who played Brawl and like Ganondorf is their favorite character for some reason. They don't want to have to completely learn a new skill set for the same character. That wouldn't have made much sense, I guess. But I don't know why he has to be a clone of Captain Falcon.
Yeah, I just say if there's any sign of Nintendo ever being lazy about something, that's kind of it. Because that just doesn't. I also never thought that made any sense. Like, if anything, it would have made more sense for him to be a clone of Link.
Yes.
Because then at least he would have a sword.
He has a sword. You can pull it out when you taunt, but that's it. He doesn't actually use his sword when he fights.
That's weird. And we also had Picchu, which is just a clone of Pikachu. I haven't encountered one of these yet. I'm playing through Heart Gold on my DS. I haven't encountered one of these yet. So he's like pre-Pikachu, right?
Yeah,
like
you
can evolve this into Pikachu.
From my understanding,
Pikachu evolves into Raichu.
From my understanding, the only way to get a Pichu is to breed two Pikachus together.
I haven't even found Pikachus in that game. But anyway, we had Mewtwo, which actually was another one.
Mewtwo was one of my favorite Pokemon, and I was glad he was in there. It was unfortunate that he sucked.
Mr. Game & Watch from the old Game & Watch handhelds that Nintendo used to make back in the early 80s.
And Game & Watch surprised me as a choice in the game, but he's actually pretty damn good. I really like him. He's actually one of my mains.
And then finally we had Marth and Roy from Fire Emblem, a game
which most
American
gamers had no fucking clue who these characters were.
They're like, are they from Zelda?
Sort of.
They started playing Link.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Everybody fucking used Marth or Roy when I was playing, because I mean, you have so now it's going to get into rant mode for me. You have Super Smash Bros., which is a wholly unique fighting game. Nothing really has been done quite like it before, right? It's a wholly unique fighting game. 4 players at once, stage hazards, items you can pick up, and then you have people who decide, let's make it like every other fucking fighting game ever made in the history of ever. this makes absolutely no sense to me. Why would you do that to such a unique game and then turn it into something that's just like everything else?
Not sure exactly what you're talking about.
The people who play Super Smash Bros. Melee competitively, and they always turn off all items, they only fight in Final Destination or maybe Battlefield, and they only fight one-on-one. That is not what Smash Bros. Is supposed to be about. Super Smash Bros. Is supposed to be 4 players at the same time. It's supposed to be random. There's supposed to be a random chaotic factor, and luck is supposed to be a factor in it. If you lose, it doesn't mean you're a worse player. It just means they got lucky. So these people apparently want to prove that they are awesome, and they can't do that if luck robs them from being better, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So there's such a competitive air to this game that I do not understand. It's like complaining that Mario Kart is not like Gran Turismo.
You know, it's one of those things, though, where it actually bothers me in a lot of games is whenever you get into the competitive atmosphere of it, or the even just ranked matches, or when you can not even going into like tournaments, just even ranked matches online, is oftentimes like playing in ranked matches will disable like a ton of the stuff that's fun about the game for the sake of balance.
So I say if it's in the game, then it should be part of it for competitive purposes. I mean, there are like tournaments, like sanctioned official tournaments. I don't know if they're sanctioned by Nintendo, but it's like professional tournaments where they win tens of thousands of dollars for coming in first, and everything is items off, one-on-one characters, and of like the 20, 30 different levels that you can pick in Super Smash Bros. Melee, there's like 4 of them that are legal. Because everything else is like too random. So they take out all of the luck factor and make it purely about skill. I mean, if you want to do that, there are tons of other fighting games that do that. You got Tekken, you got Virtua Fighter, you got Dead or Alive. People have bitched at me for saying that Dead or Alive is a serious fighting game in one of my rants. Fuck you. Dead or Alive has been played in professional gaming circles for a long time. There's a difference between Dead or Alive and Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Yeah.
Ozzie, you've played Dead or Alive, right?
I've played Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. I've played little bits of the regular games with my friends, but I never really cared for the gameplay. Yeah. Sadly, the only ones I actually owned was the second beach volleyball game.
But yeah, Dead or Alive has a really deep fighting engine and was played in a lot of professional circles. People have bitched at me for saying that Dead or Alive is a serious fighting game. It is. It's been played professionally, as has Super Smash Bros., which just baffles me that they do that. But if these people want to do it on their own, that's fine. But if I bring Super Smash Bros. To a party, and I want 4 people to play at once, there's always that one asshole who walks up and is like, hang on, I just want to make one change. And he goes into the options and he turns all items off. It's like, that's not one fucking change.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I remember, this isn't Smash Brothers related, but I remember, I was like one of the few people that liked Soul Calibur 3. People will hate me for that, but because that was like the least liked game in the series. But I liked Soul Calibur 3, and there were so many times when I wanted to play with somebody, and especially if you were going to play it at any kind of tournament, you weren't allowed to use your custom characters. It's like you got to use someone as part of the regular roster, and you can't use this character because they're for noobs. And it's like, let me just play the fucking game.
I don't understood that when you can't play a character that's for noobs. Is it because he's too strong, or he's too cheap?
They usually have something you can spam that make them particularly cheap. Anyone who's played Soul Calibur might be familiar with how cheap Raphael could be, because you could just hold forward and tap the B button repeatedly and basically beat anyone.
Well, then it's not the fault. Then I guess that is the fault of the game designers, but there has to be a counter to that. Like
there is
parrying
but
or sidestepping or projectiles or what?
There's not projectiles in Soul Calibur, so that's the problem with that, but it's a story for another day. We'll get off track if we go too deep into that.
Yeah. You'd think that there would be counters for these kind of super insane characters, because, I mean, there's certain things, like in Twisted Metal 2, you can pick Minion, who is the level 4 sub-boss, who is just ridiculously overpowered, and you can pick him as a playable character. He has his own ending and everything. And you can pick him in multiplayer. That's basically just house ruling. You can't pick Minion because he is absurdly broken. Yeah, but then this game, you have things where you can pick a weaker character, but it doesn't matter because Fox and Sheik are the only two characters that matter in competitive Melee.
Yeah, and I've always I'm someone who also really hates tier lists because anyone who knows about how I feel about Street Fighter, I never use the Shoto clones. I never use Ken or Ryu. I almost exclusively use Cammy, who I don't think is very high on the tier list. But I don't care about tiers. I care about who I feel like using. So it's like when I play something like Smash, I use like Bowser. I don't care where he's at on the tier list. Bowser's one of my favorite characters. So that's who I'm going to use.
Yeah, I like to use Game & Watch. I like Kirby, Bowser occasionally. I kind of like Yoshi because there's a really big jump. I like Young Link. I don't really like Pikachu because there's a really poor recovery. I hate people like Captain Falcon, Ganondorf, Marth, Roy, Fox, and Falco. They just fall way too fast. But I pick the characters that I feel comfortable playing. And generally, when you're just learning a game, you just pick a character you like. I mean, some people find Yoshi cute, so they like Yoshi, and they like the way he feels, and they play Yoshi a lot, and they get good with Yoshi. And then people find out, no, it doesn't matter how good you are with Yoshi, you will never be able to beat somebody who has practiced all the time with Fox. So unless you want to beat somebody in combat, you have to start playing with Fox or playing with Sheik. It's like, fuck you, I'm going to play Metroid Prime.
Oh, Johnny, what do you think about tiers?
Yeah, as the resident achievement whore and competitive player, what do you think?
Well, as far as like fighting games goes, that's kind of where my competitiveness goes. Like I enjoy fighting games fine, but as far as like getting into them like really super competitive, I kind of stay away from that. I mean, if I'm bored someday on a weekend, if there's nothing else going on, I'll throw on a fighting game tournament. Like I like to see sometimes what these kids are up to, but yeah, I just don't see like me personally, I just don't see the point in just getting good at one character. I like to just try to vary my my palette, if you will, playing this character, playing that character, see what works. But mostly within the Smash Brothers series, I kind of stick with like Mario, Samus, Link. Those are the only ones I seem to be good at. I really don't like Yoshi because he seems to be a little floaty, especially like when you get in that big egg and you try to roll around.
That's
I
supposed
always
to be
lose
his
control.
aerial recovery because he doesn't have an up B attack. Well, he does, but it doesn't jump. You're supposed to use the egg to try to get back to the playing field if you're hit really far off. Same
Really?
with Jigglypuff. You're supposed to use her rolled out attack.
I don't know. It's like it just sounds like a little bit too much work to try and get that going. But with Melee though, I found that they added a whole lot more.
Yeah, they added a lot of stuff that you can do that's basically exploits the engine of the game. For example, Wavedashing. If anybody has looked up competitive Smash Brothers, you know what Wavedashing is. But basically, it's a way that abuses the physics engine of the game, where you air dodge against the ground, and it ends up pushing you forward, and it's faster than running. So if you're watching a competitive game, it's basically a bunch of, two people cheating the physics of the engine in order to warp around and try to fight. It's like watching a Dragon Ball Z fight, but you still can't tell what the hell's going on. So, like watching a Dragon Ball Z fight.
It's an interesting analogy.
No, well, one of the things I liked with Melee that they added was the classic, not the classic, but the adventure mode, where it pretty much turned into a side scroller platformer. Like the first bit there, you're in the Mushroom Kingdom, you're jumping on Goombas and Koopa Troopas, and then all of a sudden, bam, you have to fight an entire Yoshi team.
Yeah, I like the adventure system of it. I kind of wish that they added more to that, like it was longer, but then we would later get our wish in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which we'll get into in a little bit.
The other thing I liked is the trophies.
Yeah, the trophies. The trophies were a really nice addition.
Well, and it gave people that maybe the GameCube was their first Nintendo console, it gave them a little history lesson as to, you know, the previous games, because there was trophies in there that really didn't reflect the characters that you were playing, but they reflected Nintendo's history. Like, you could get a 3D model of the Excite Bike guy, or
you could get
Mach Rider.
Discoon.
Or Little Mac before he showed up in any shape or form.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the infamous Princess Daisy with the
Princess
third
Daisy's
eye.
Third eye, yeah.
Yeah, if you glitch the hair out, if you look behind her, she's got an eye in the back of her head, which is really creepy.
Just funny. I remember with the trophies. Speaking of princesses, I remember one of my friends trying to tilt the trophy so they could look up Peach's dress. It didn't work very well.
It's just polygons, yeah.
It's just, well, the thing is, even if you manage to tilt it right, it's just pink emptiness. There's nothing there.
Yeah, because they wouldn't
Nintendo
bother
knew someone
modeling
would
something that is A, perverted, and B, wouldn't ever be seen from any other angle.
Yeah, Nintendo knew someone would try to do that, so they
should put a face down. They should put a face down there saying, "Go, get out of here, close that door."
They also added a few other challenge modes, like the home run derby, where you had to hit a sandbag.
Have you seen some of these videos online of people that make it go like 900,000 feet?
No, I can barely get it to go the required 12,000 to get that special. I think it's the Yoshi stage. It was either Yoshi stage or another stage. I can't remember which one.
I think I managed to unlock that because, I mean, I looked online. It basically says to use a character like Ganondorf or Captain Falcon, and you have to time it so that when you throw the bat up and then you basically do a down attack in a down aerial on the sandbag, it'll hit the sandbag up, and then the bat will land on him and hit him back down. And you do that like 3 or 4 times, and then you hit him with a Falcon Punch, and it'll end up going like 12,000 feet. But then you have only like 10 seconds to do it, so you have to practice it a lot. Then there's people that manage to do it like 6 times before that. It ends up going like 80,000 feet.
But with most of the hidden characters or the new people that they added that you had to unlock, I'm reading some of the stuff here on GameFAQs.com about how you unlock them. Man, like, I would never be able to do these like straight through. So what I do is there's a trick that you can do to because basically you can unlock these characters when you hit like 100, 200, 300 versus matches.
There's 2 ways to unlock each of the characters. One is to unlock them in game, and the other one is just through multiplayer matches.
Yeah. So what I do is I would pick just one set character, and apparently if you pick Ness, put his AI difficulty up to 9.
I thought it was 8.
And then pick.
Then you pick the Donkey Kong River
9.
stage.
Yeah, and he will always jump in the water and die instantly. You'll get like 3-second matches. I think it took me a solid day to get 1,000 and get all the characters unlocked.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do it the other ways.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was Melee or if it was Brawl. There were some of them where you had to spend so many hours playing the game to unlock the character.
The Game & Watch, I think you have to play it. I would think like 22 hours to unlock him.
Yeah, 22 hours. That was the first method. The other one was to go through 1,000 matches. I was like, you know what? It'll take me 1,000 matches. It'll be quicker to go to 1,000 matches doing this method than it would be to play that many hours, because the time only goes for actual matches.
Well, what you do is what you can do is you set it up to like 4 players, all AI, set them to 99 lives, and then just let them brawl each other or melee each other all night.
Yeah, because it goes by the accumulative time of all the controllers that are plugged in, apparently.
Yeah, so if you're playing with 4 characters, it only takes like 6 hours.
Yeah. I find it easier just to let Ness kill himself over and over again, personally, but...
Whatever floats your boat.
Or it doesn't float, because he sinks in the water and dies.
Yeah. Or Claptrap comes up and bites his ass. Kills him instantly.
So, moving on to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I want to get into something that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Super Smash Bros. 64, is the different way that Super Smash Bros. Handled special moves. the way that this game works is it's not like any other fighting game, not only in the fact that it's 4 players and then stage hazards and then items, but also every character basically plays the same. They have variations, of course, with their weight, their attack power, their different variants of their attacks, but every character has their up special, their down special in Melee and on, their forward special, and then their regular special. And then in Brawl they have the Final Smash. But every character's special attack is done in one of those ways. So you can, people argue, oh, you can learn Mortal Kombat in 5 minutes. No, you can't. You can maybe learn a character in an hour, but you cannot learn Mortal Kombat in 5 minutes. Super Smash Brothers, you can, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Once you know how to play one character, pretty much 90% of every other character plays that same way. Most projectiles are usually their regular B attack. Their down B is usually some sort of a shield of some kind. Up B is almost always a recovery move of some kind. So it's not only a matter of you know what these characters do. I mean, you tried it out when the first time you used that character to see what their variation on it was. Like the different character, like Ness floating up in midair, or Ness actually didn't have a recovery. He had that lightning ball thing. But, I mean, Fox had his teleportation. Mario had his Dragon Punch, whatever it'd be. So they had their different variants to the recovery move, but then it was not only a matter of knowing when to use it. In these other fighting games, you had to be able to execute it in time. How many times has somebody tried to perform a fireball or a Dragon Punch, and it just would not work? Because you just didn't know how to get the joystick to register in the right way, especially if you're playing on a D-pad.
And even when you do know how to do the moves in a fighting game, you're not going to get it right 100% of the time. There's going to be times where you're desperately trying to do a move because you're about to get KO'd, and you just keep fucking up because you're panicking.
You're trying to teleport. You're trying to hit down, up, and teleport, and it is not fucking working.
Yeah, especially when they get into super moves. Like I can't tell you how many times playing Third Strike, playing as Ken, I'm trying to do the rush kicks, and I'm like, you gotta do quarter circle twice, and then hit a punch button or kick button. Like I'm just like frantically, even with like a joystick, I'm just like can't do it. A D-pad still can't do it. Like, what the fuck?
But then Melee or Smash Bros. Just introduced this. Why not just press the special button and a direction, and you do your special attack? That is just so mind-blowingly simple. It just solves so many problems with fighting games. You don't have to practice 100 hours a day. You don't have to practice in the TARDIS and practice 100 hours a day just to learn how to do this. Just to learn how to do this perfectly every time. You just press forward B and you do your forward B attack. It cannot be any simpler than that. And there are other games that use similar ideas of that, like stuff like Blaze Blue, if I recall, actually played similar to that.
There have been a couple fighting games that have actually had so you could basically play on beginner mode, where all you have to do is like hit a certain button to do a special move. I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 did that.
Yeah, they had simple and like basic. I don't even know the difference. No. What was it? Like simple and then normal. It was like normal and simple. Simple was just basically like hit a button to win.
Yeah, and it would really piss off other players because the sad thing is while it does make it easy to do special moves, that you had to sacrifice some of your regular attacks even being available in order to play in that mode. But you would always piss off the other players because they know that you're playing in simple mode because of the way you're fighting.
Well, there's people that would do nothing but their special attacks. They just keep trying to use their special attacks because they figure it's special, it must be good, right?
Yeah.
There's people who just spam, like in Street Fighter, there's people who just spam Fireball the entire battle.
Yeah. They don't like it when I use Cammy's backhand where she just leaps through the Fireball. The other thing I remember in a fighting game that was actually fairly simple was in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They added in quick combos where you could like set up a combo to a button, or you just hit the button and you do the combo. But nothing's really set up quite as simply as Smash Brothers special moves are.
And
Yeah,
I'm surprised that there haven't been more clones of it. I mean, we had the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which, from what I understand, is not very much like Smash Brothers. I mean, it has the 4 players at once and the stages, but other than that, it plays a very different than Smash Brothers. It's about trying to do like an ultra attack, I believe, which
basically it's you got your characters on screen, and instead of knocking a player out of the arena, like you can knock them, but they'll just get right back in. But basically, every time you attack somebody, they drop orbs, and that fills up your meter. And when you get like a 1, 2, 3, then I think you hit the R2 button, and that would go into your killing move. Or it's almost similar to like a Final Smash, but if you connect with that, you get a kill.
Okay.
One game that actually cloned Smash Brothers to a T, though, was Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. And it was horrible.
Oh, dear.
I mean, the gameplay itself wasn't particularly bad, and, it had all the Cartoon Network characters. But the thing that absolutely blew my mind that they were this stupid was it's a clone of Smash Brothers. That's exactly what it is. So it's obviously going to be trying to compete with Smash Brothers. And they don't have online play in it.
Yes, I remember seeing your rant about that.
When Brawl is already out at this point. It's like it's on every system. It was on the PS3, the Xbox 360, the Wii, the 3DS. No online play on any of them. I'm like, are you stupid?
Why would you have a fighting game on the 3DS with no multiplayer?
That's a good question. I would imagine it probably has like local wireless multiplayer, but no online capabilities.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird that it wouldn't have that on there. I mean, Brawl has multiplayer. It's not good, but at least it has it.
It works, technically.
I mean, if anyone wants to know how bad or good it works, go watch TestZero's 4-up when we played Nintendo World Championships, and then we played Brawl afterwards. That shows you how bad the Wi-Fi connection was on that.
It is pretty laggy, but for a system that was not really coded too well to have a great net presence, what do you want? Hopefully Super Smash Bros. 4 will be better.
Do keep in mind that the net connection issues actually kept me from playing with you guys.
Yeah, so we had to swap them out for Chris.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go. Let's talk about Brawl. Let's talk about the initial trailer that came out at E3 that announced who did we get? We got
the Wii Fit trainer.
No, Brawl.
Oh, Brawl, right.
Yeah, the trailer that came out for that. We got the initial 4, pretty much like the mascots, the ones that are always shown.
Mario, Link, Samus, and Pikachu, of course.
Kirby in the initial one. Then we had Samus show up, and she did her final smash. Her armor falls off, and she turns into Zero Suit Samus, which is
honestly,
what happens...
I never liked the idea behind Zero Suit Samus. It seems like a really obvious attempt to get her into skimpier clothing and make sure people know, see, she's a woman.
Even though her Zero Suit is less skimpy than what would happen if you beat Metroid on the NES within the fastest time in the most item collection. She's basically in a bikini.
Somebody who actually cares about the damn game and cares enough about it to beat it that fast and that well.
I thought it was interesting that they put that in there, because unless you played Zero Mission on the GBA, really didn't know that she could have this suit. I mean, in Zero Mission, when she gets into this Zero Suit, she's pretty well useless. She has the stun gun, which can't do anything until she finds that Chozo relic, and then she gets the gravity suit and all those other things she grabbed on there. Who else did they announce in that trailer? Oh yeah, the return of Pit from Kid Icarus.
Yeah, that was surprising. If I recall, Kid Icarus was one of the few that was considered that they ended up going for the Ice Climbers, because they wanted a character that represented the early days of Nintendo. So the other options, I think, it was Kid Icarus, it was the guy from Balloon Fight, or it was the rider from Excite Bike.
Yeah.
Of course, you gotta wonder, was Pit added to represent the early days of Nintendo, or was he added because they were working on Kid Icarus Uprising?
I'd imagine it's because they wanted it added because of Kid Icarus Uprising. Because they already added the Ice Climbers to represent the early days of Nintendo.
Who else did we get in that trailer? Wario. Yeah.
Wario was an interesting addition. Thankfully, he's not another Mario clone.
Yeah. He's more in the style of what happened with the WarioWare series. So he's not the yellow and
although you can pick that
overalls.
you can pick him pick that as an
skin.
alternate costume.
Yeah.
He has a lot of alternate costumes. He has 4 from his WarioWare skin, then 4 from his regular Wario skin.
You know, speaking of alternate costumes, that makes me have to say something. Thank you, Nintendo, for not charging us money for alternate costumes.
Yes, thank you, Nintendo. Please don't do that with Smash Bros. 4.
Yes. And then also in that trailer we got Meta Knight from the Kirby franchise. Made his debut in Kirby's Adventure, I believe, right?
He debuted in Kirby's Adventure, and he actually became quite popular, probably more popular than King Dedede, who was also introduced in the trailer, and is actually probably my favorite character in Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Was he introduced in the trailer?
I believe so.
I thought it was only that.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Well, he was introduced in the game.
But the big surprise in that trailer is that after the logo came out and it faded out, then you heard the codec call, and then bam, Solid Snake is in there. Which actually, Hideo Kojima wanted Snake in Melee, but it was kind of too late.
He came up to them so late in production. It's like, we wish we could put it in, but no, it's too late.
Because that was around the time that Silicon Knights was working on the Twin Snakes for the GameCube.
And that the all special stuff and the little Yoshi doll, you can shoot him in first-person mode and make squeaking sounds.
Of course, it's just kind of weird to have Snake in Smash Brothers when they keep skipping Nintendo with the Metal Gear games.
That's true.
And the Metal Gear game on the NES was shit.
Yeah, and then you got Snake's Revenge. There was Metal Gear, there was Snake's Revenge, which wasn't actually a direct sequel. It was just the NES's version of it.
It was a sequel to the NES one. It wasn't specifically in the series. I think it was made by the localization team that localized the original Metal Gear.
Yeah, they put Snake in orange.
Why? We're not talking about Metal Gear. We're talking about Smash Brothers. And then, of course, the big upset of the rest of that trailer was later added when they added Sonic to Super Smash Brothers.
Again, another one that the creator wanted that in Melee, but again, time constraints didn't warrant him to be in that.
But if he had come out, would that the GameCube was around at the same time as the Dreamcast, right?
2001? Yeah, it was around the same time, but...
so that would have been... Because they had no other... I don't think there were any other Sega games for the GameCube, were there?
No, there were.
I guess there were.
They had Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 ported to the GameCube after the
Dreamcast ended, so...
Yeah.
There was a couple other Sonic games, including the Sonic Collection. But...
Okay, so I'm going through the list here of the other characters that were in there. They weren't announced in the trailer, we just added on later, but we got Diddy Kong from the Donkey Kong Country series.
Diddy Kong, I kind of like him. He fights a lot like a monkey you'd expect a monkey would fight. He flies, he rolls around a lot and throws stuff. Captain Olimar, what?
And Chris beat your asses with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got another clone in Star Wolf from the Star Fox series.
No, see, Wolf isn't a clone. His forward B goes up slightly. But I think the most original new character added in Brawl was the Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, because you could, if you hit down B, you could switch between the 3 starters from the first Pokemon. You could switch between Squirtle, Charizard, and Ivysaur. Yeah.
Didn't Lucario basically just get?
Lucario basically got Mewtwo's moveset, which kind of pissed me off.
Because Lucario's not a psychic Pokemon; he's a fighting steel Pokemon.
Yeah.
I'm not just thinking about this now. We got Pikachu, the Pokemon trainer, Lucario, Jigglypuff. There's like 6 Pokemon in the roster.
If you look at how when it's fully built up, I actually like how they distributed the different layouts. Because you have Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, because you have them distributed by each column. And each column is basically one different... They all have kind of a common theme. So the first column is just like straight up Mario games. The second column is stuff that's related to Mario games. So you have Donkey Kong, you have Yoshi, and Wario. Then the third column is obviously Legend of Zelda series. You got Link, Zelda, Sheik, Ganondorf, and Toon Link. Then of course Samus, Pit, Ice Climbers, and Rob, which I guess represents the early days of Nintendo, because Metroid was one of those big games from that time, and
then you got
Rob obviously
the
was their Trojan horse that got everything started, and of course Kirby, and then Captain Olimar, which was also from a HAL series, so that makes sense. You got Fox and Falco and Wolf, and then Captain Falcon, which is I don't quite know what that fits with them, but okay.
Then you got the Pokemon, the next column.
Obviously, you got the Pokemon, and then you got Fire Emblem and Earthbound, games which want to be popular in the West, but for some reason Nintendo won't let them become popular in the West.
That's the RPG column.
I had no idea who Lucas was. I said, was he like someone that ran around with Ness in his party? But I guess he's the protagonist of Mother 3, the GBA game.
That never came out over here.
Then you have the characters that don't really fit anywhere else. You got Game & Watch, Snake, Sonic, and Random, my favorite character.
Yeah. From what I've been hearing, though, Random could have been another Ice Climber type duo group. They look like I don't know the full name of these Pokemon, but
Minun and Plusle?
Yes.
I have heard about that. There was leaked information about 3 or 4 hidden characters that were in the codes, that were in the coding of the game, but weren't in the final release. Minun and Plusle were one of them, but there were others that I haven't... I think one of the others might have also been Midna. Midna and Link.
And actually, another one I was looking up. I think another one was going to be Toon Zelda and Tetra. So it was going to be like Sheik and Zelda, where if you hit down B, you could transform from Toon Zelda to Tetra.
Huh.
But then again, that's leading into the whole. We've got too many clones of other characters in this.
Yes,
which I think they have less than Melee, but they still have a few that kind of okay.
Mario and Luigi at this point they do play different enough for one another, that you can accept it. But Ganondorf and Captain Falcon are still very much clones. But other than that, Link and Toon Link, and then Ness and Lucas, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and everyone else plays pretty differently from everyone else. So at least there's
Fox,
that.
Falco, and Wolf, of course, but
yeah, they're complete clones. One of the things that I really liked about this version was the fact that there was a history, a vault, if you will, that would switch the game to Virtual Console mode, and you could play small demos of some of the earlier games. So, this is telling people cool. The history. You could, for people that never played Star Fox 64 or Ocarina of Time or Super Metroid or Mario 2, you could play these and just be like, this is how this character controlled. Like, when you played the Super Mario Bros. 2 demo, you play as Peach. It's like, she floated and she had a hard time pulling the stuff out of the ground and throwing it, but she could float. But I guess in the Japanese version, didn't they have a small playable demo of Earthbound as well?
There might have been. I would not know.
I think so.
Yeah, because it did come out on the Japanese Virtual Console for the regular Wii. We're just not getting it in America until the Wii U version comes out.
Yeah.
But, so I guess we should close this episode with, what do we want to see in Super Smash Bros. 4, which at this point is just called Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. I kind of like the original teaser name of Super Smash Bros. Universe, but that's just me. Who do we want to see?
You know, this isn't who I want to see, but somebody actually made kind of a funny comment about this is if like, just assuming we got everybody coming back from Brawl, we probably won't, but just assuming that, is if we do, that means we're going to have Mega Man and Pit. Imagine if they also added Simon Belmont.
I want to see Simon Belmont. I really like the idea of putting Simon Belmont in there.
I don't know. I don't think you realize why I'm making this reference, though.
Oh yeah, I get it. I know what you mean.
N.
You're talking about Captain N. But I do want to see Simon Belmont in there because I mean he's another legacy character that's been around for a long time, from the early days of Nintendo even, and he basically helped put Nintendo on the map with his Castlevania series. My personal hatred of the series aside, he has a lot of really interesting attacks. He's got his boomerang, he's got his axe, he could use his whip as a recovery. And I always said that Mega Man should have been in the games, and he's going to be now, but my argument was that he would round out Kirby, no pun intended, by being another character that could take powers from his defeated foes.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to be doing that in this form. He's going to have the powers just kind of from the guys he's beaten from previous Mega Man games, which I guess is another nice way to do it.
Yeah, but people actually want to see. I you know, one of my friends, like I said, one of my friends mentioned the Simon Belmont thing. I actually thought it would be funny if they actually added Captain N to the game, because I mean, he's Captain Nintendo. It would be funny to see him in a Smash Brothers game. But as far as
I think they want to get rid of any memory of Captain N. If they're gonna do that, I want to see Bob Hoskins' Mario in it.
But as far as characters I'd actually like to see added, that's actually from a game.
Well, the big I'm gonna cut you off very briefly. The big problem with them putting Sonic and Snake in Brawl is that it opened up the floodgates for every insane fanboy to say, "See, now they can have Cloud from Final Fantasy VII in there." It's like they would not put Cloud in there. He doesn't have enough of a legacy behind him. It was from one freaking game.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like it's mainly characters that are basically represent their series mostly, aside from finished characters. But I was gonna say, character I would actually like to see, and probably people probably think this is a weird choice. I actually would like to see them add Wendy Koopa.
Or I think they might end up adding Bowser Jr.
Yeah, I could see that happening, but I was thinking, another Koopa and an extra female character.
Yeah. Wendy Koopa, because she's got her rings that she bounces around and stuff. I could see that happening. That could be interesting. But I think we might be seeing Baby Bowser, or not Baby Bowser, but Bowser Jr.
Yeah, I know. I've got an unlikely want, but it's just one that I thought would be interesting to see added to the game. I know it won't happen because not enough people would care. Yeah,
probably not. It would be like adding Cammy, the female Magic Koopa. Maybe Kamek, but not Cammy. Johnny, you've been quiet. What do you think they should add to Smash 4?
I've been thinking, for Simon Belmont, if they do put him in there, just give him the basic outfit from like the cover of the first Castlevania. Don't give us that crappy Japanese anime remake they did for Castlevania Judgment. I don't know if you guys ever played that on the Wii. Castlevania the fighting game.
I think
Castlevania Judgment. I've seen a speed run of that.
I think I saw it on Game Grumps, but I haven't played it.
It's just like it's the easiest fighting game in the world. You just basically mash the A button until you get your special up, and then you get like a 100 hit combo that doesn't finish off your opponent. But like the redesign they did of Simon Belmont in that was just horrible. I don't want to see that ever again.
Yeah, I think he looks like an anime boy, doesn't he?
Yeah, they pretty much animate the whole thing when it came to Aria of Sorrow. They're just like, all right, everything's anime now. I was just trying to think of another character. Like, with the Wii Fit trainer being added to the new one, I think
that was a weird choice.
That was a weird choice, and the scary thing is the amount of fan art that has popped up of her. I've
seen memes of her. It's like, your ideal heart rate is 0.
People have made her kind of creepy.
They've made the villager creepy as hell. The freaking villager, holy crap!
But I think with with them adding the Wii Fit trainer, it just that opens the floodgate for them to pick any obscure Nintendo character.
Well, they're adding the Wii Fit trainer because they want somebody to represent the new Wii and Wii U stuff.
One idea that I had, and I think that they'll probably implement, because they did it in New Super Mario Brothers U, is being able to use your Mii.
I thought they should have added that to Brawl, so then it wasn't even a matter of character versus character anymore. Now it could be literally anybody versus anybody. You could have Hitler versus Gandhi if you made Miis of them.
Yeah, I do remember having Wii Sports boxing matches of Hitler versus Jesus.
Yes.
And every time I won as Jesus, I would stick my nunchuck and Wiimote to the side so it looked like I was crucified. Not so much a character though, but one thing I would really like to see within Universe, the next installment, is another Subspace Embassy mode. I really liked that from Brawl, really the whole story mode. And what's funny is that when I was playing it again, because I had a Wii before, I sold it for money to get some money as I was poor, and then I got another one again. And playing that again, I was playing that with my girlfriend and her old roommate. Her old roommate's the more gamer of the bunch, but we were just sitting there and we were just riffing on the whole thing because there's no dialogue on that, and just like you could just make up your own story. Because I think there was like one point there where we had hit something and everything caught on fire. We're just both in unison, "Yay, I'm on fire!" Or the point where they had those little machines that would shoot out the arrows and would turn you into like dark trophies. And I think at one point Diddy Kong jumps in front. We're just like, "Donkey Kong, no!" I would love to see another one like that.
I really like the story of Subspace Emissary because you got to see these characters who would ordinarily have no reason to interact with one another. I mean, you had Pikachu interacting with Zero Suit Samus. You had who was it hanging out with Donkey Kong? It was like Fox and Diddy Kong together. And they're like, and then they keep their same attitude throughout, or like the one is just like super happy, and the other one's like, "What the hell's going on here?"
The only thing though is that I don't want a little bit like if you're gonna have branching paths, don't make it so that it's to unlock new characters because you could unlock Toon Link, Wolf, and Sonic the Hedgehog if you took a different path. Just kind of keep the story on just like one little path there, and have it so that you can unlock everybody. Extra pass, maybe make that for extra stages or items. I don't know. Like I would prefer to just keep it streamlined.
Yeah, I would love to see a big like adventure mode. Subspace Emissary is basically a whole game in and of itself. It's like an 8-hour session to play through that thing.
Yeah,
but for the next installment, what would you not want to see?
Or anything like characters subtract? That they should not add to Super Smash Brothers, or stuff that should be removed from Super Smash Brothers from previous editions. Because I've already heard that they're removing tripping.
Yeah, like things like that. Like one thing I would really, really love them to do is. Can we cut back a little bit on the Pokemons? I mean, like you got like in the last game you had 6 Pokemons as fighters, and then you had 1 million trophies of Pokemons. Like, can we like if you want to have Pokemon trophies, put them in the next game, the next Pokemon game, I should say. Leave them out of Brawl, please. Like, give me Pikachu and give me another Pokemon, and like that's one of the other things I want is less clones. If you want to have a clone, have it as an alternate skin. Like, I was trying to come up with scenarios with this. Like maybe Fox, Falco, and Wolf. Make that one character.
They're not going to do that. They're probably at least going to have Fox and Falco in it because they're kind of grandfathered in, just like keeping Jigglypuff. Because I have no idea. The only reason they've kept Jigglypuff in through since the beginning is because she's been grandfathered in. They had a chance to remove her in Melee, but the fact that they didn't and everybody else continued from Melee, they kind of have to have her in there from from now on.
They could make one of Peach's alternate outfits be Daisy, though.
They already did that.
Did they?
They had,
Yeah,
one of
sure.
her alternate outfits is just, she looks like Daisy, she has the hair. I don't know if she has the third eye, but...
No, that was just the trophy that had that weird glitch in it.
The character that I would want to see, I don't know who they could pick, but I want to see another character from the Metroid series. There's been talk that they add Ridley, but Ridley is way too freaking huge. I was thinking maybe one of the other hunters from Metroid Prime Hunters, like Candon, or...
I don't think Ridley's size would be a problem, because, I mean, if you think about it, Bowser's been insanely large sometimes. So his size shouldn't really be a problem. They just make him smaller for the game.
And King Dedede is larger than the other characters. I mean, if you could shrink down Ridley... If you could shrink down Ridley a little bit, I think you could get him in there. I mean... If you look back at Super Metroid and like the first Metroid, he's not really that much bigger to Samus. He was only really big in the subspace MSE, and I think maybe Metroid Other M.
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't even Ridley, but we'll get into that later. Another character, as much as I hate Ganondorf, I want to see Ganon in the game, like actual pig Ganon. And you can turn into him a Ganondorf special attack, his Final Smash, but I want to see actual Ganon from the games in there.
Although you know what they could do? They could make Ganondorf work like Zelda does, where he can change into Ganon.
That could be interesting, yeah. And you got Zelda and Sheik. Why not have Ganon and Ganondorf? I'd never play as Ganondorf unless he has to swap to their Final Smash, like Zelda does, or not Zelda, like Samus does. But we're getting up on it. We are way overshot our hour long, so I guess that's it for this episode. Johnny, where can we find you?
They can find me at youtube.com/AchievementHordeJohn.
And Ozzie?
You can find me on Reviewers Unknown or planetarcane.blogspot.com.
Okay, you were kind of mumbled, you kind of messed up right there, so I will have the links on the screen if you couldn't hear them. And you can see all of us on reviewersunknown.com. You can check me out at testzero.net. If you like this episode, be sure to hit like and subscribe. See you folks later.